What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the kingdom. My name is Drums, joined, as always, by the brothers behind King Golf, Regan and Jordan Headley. Starting things off on the first tee this evening is Reg. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Drummy. A little chilly down in this basement. That September weather's creeping up on us, and it's starting to get cold in the mornings and cold at night. We finished a round last night at about 8:30, almost pitch black and freezing. So I'm afraid that time of year is upon us when we have to golf during the day if we want to finish 18 holes. But it's okay. It's been a pretty good summer.
It's brutal. Like, we went from 35 degrees last week to 16 now.
And it's not cold, but it feels cold right now.
Yeah. And next on the tee, his brother, Jordan. How's it going, buddy?
Drums, you got a new mic, eh?
Yeah, we'll test this one out, see how it goes.
Hold her up. Yeah, there you go. Sound better.
Nice.
Things are good in Brandon. As Kenny Keeler said yesterday, it's officially quarter zip season. So, yeah, you're right. Yesterday we woke up in the morning and it was freezing, and last week it was about 30 degrees out. So, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise. Happens every year. It's kind of that time where you have to wear a fall jacket in the morning and then your tank top by 3 o'clock. So that's just how it is here, and we've dealt with it for this long, so we should be good. We got lots going on tonight. We're going to talk about some PGA stuff, which is kind of out of our usual realm a little bit. We're going to get into some of our friends and followers questions, and then we're going to do our usual second segment. So what's going on with you, Drums?
Not much, man. We had, like, Reg, I golfed yesterday too, and same thing, like 8 o'clock, it was getting pretty dark. 8:30, it was almost pitch black, and then it was cold as hell. Yeah.
That's not good. But
No. That was my first time golfing in a week again. Been slacking a bit.
How come?
I don't know. Too much going on.
I got to throw in one quick plug here to Gilbert Plains Golf Course. The greens are maybe in the last decade the best they've ever been right now. Jor can attest to that after the Kings tournament. They are super soft. You can absolutely zip them back, and they are super quick. Like, they are incredible right now.
Nice. How was the tourney?
It's a pretty good day.
Yeah.
It's always a pretty long day, but we finally had some good weather for that tournament, and I think we finished like seven under or something, Drew?
6, I think.
6, whatever it was. Yeah, didn't even know we shot. So
who'd you guys play with? Your dad and who else?
Moose.
Mitch Moose.
Oh, nice.
Moosey.
I've never seen greens like that before, and I don't know if I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of that. Maybe just because I'm not used to that. It's at Wheat City, it goes 10 feet the other way instead of back, so I was kind of struggling to find the proper clubs during the day. It seemed like every club you'd hit, no matter if it was a pitching wedge or a 6-iron, it would spin back 10 feet or off the green. So,
oh wow,
we're not used to that here.
No.
So it's kind of tough, but they are really nice and really fast and true. So yeah, I would agree that the Gilbert Plains crew deserves. Did they change anything this year, or do you think it's just been the weather patterns?
In the weather patterns for sure. They kind of, like I said earlier on in the year, they were really cautious with them. They had a couple greens that were winter killed, so they took their time getting those back to normal. I would say they've probably been slower than usual most of the year, but just in the last couple of weeks when there's tournaments on, they've kind of ramped it up. They got that roller now, so they roll it and double cut them, and then it gets pretty damn quick.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Was.
Who does their ground screw out there?
Donnie Senek. He's from Ethelbert. Doesn't know much. He doesn't like the game of golf, but he knows a lot about how to keep a golf course mint.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, he doesn't golf himself, but he's unreal maintaining the course.
Yeah,
I know,
but
weird. He's just, well, I guess he just knows all the chemicals and what not to use and how to keep the grass growing the right way, right? So
yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I guess if he got into it for that purpose instead of because he loved the game of golf, I think it's probably a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a few other guys out there that are pretty good at it too, right? Like there's a whole crew there.
Yeah.
You said last week that you would hire Ryan Horn as your guy, so he must be doing something right out there.
He's not out there anymore. He's in Winnipeg.
Oh, yeah, I knew
But
that.
he was unbelievable when he was out there. Like just the details that he picks up on that the naked eye would never see. And he's out there golfing and he's shooting 61 and he's putting red stakes back in place and he's figuring out what they have to do the next day. It's just he's got such a course knowledge. That guy's like a golf wizard, man. But
yeah, he is. So with the weather turning and stuff now, we got a few big PGA events coming up. So like I said, this isn't a really PGA focused podcast like a few of them are out there, but we kind of want to touch on a few things that we've noticed lately or throughout the year. They're just getting into their final segment of the playoffs now for the FedEx Cup. And then there's a couple of majors, the US Open, and then the Masters is going to be crazy in November. It's very exciting actually to me that the Masters is going to be there in November. I'm guessing the first time it's ever been any time other than the first week of April.
yes, it's always on Rob's birthday.
Yep.
And so, yeah, we just kind of wanted to get into a few different stories and stuff that we've noticed over the last little bit. And Rigo kind of had one that I guess we should start with Mackenzie Hughes probably, eh?
Yes, definitely.
Give it up to our boy.
Unbelievable.
So he had what did he called it, a greasy something sneaky or something. Was it a 5-footer downhill?
Yeah.
At the par of the last hole to get into the Tour Championship. So, yeah, I was nervous watching that. I can't imagine how that putt would have felt to be stroking that because he's one of those guys that's kind of been around for a little while, but he's never really secured himself, I guess you could say, on the tour.
Mm-hmm.
So that it puts a lot more pressure on the guy. And what did you guys think when you were watching it?
Just crazy nerves. And honestly, I'll say at the time, I guess I didn't really realize how significant it was to get into the Tour Championship. Until I saw this thing on Twitter, and I don't it's unbelievable. But we said on one episode that what would you rather have? You got to hit a fairway or hit a green or make that 6-foot putt or 10-foot putt, whatever we said, for $1 million. Basically that putt that he made on 18 secured him at least $395,000 because that's what 30th place in this tournament gets. And that is incredible, man. I don't know. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, given how much it was actually worth that putt, like you said, $300,000, and the fact that these guys haven't had a full season, sure they're making tons of money, but it's they're still missing out on half of their paychecks from everybody spends to what they make, right? So
yeah,
people still need to make money at whatever capacity it is. So just to guarantee yourself even that much money is on a 4-foot putt. That's I was nervous as hell just watching it.
Yeah, it was crazy. So they're $400,000. I'm guessing that would be US. So that's what, 600,000 Canadian.
2 million.
And that's kind of that's a minimum of what he gets because he gets exemptions. Yeah, that's dead last, and plus he gets exemptions into every major next year and a whole bunch of other stuff that goes along with that.
Right.
So then you're talking stuff on top of that, and yeah, it's incredible how much money is available next week. The winner gets 15 mil. So basically, I saw a tweet the other day that said the winner of the FedEx Cup will be sitting at 128th place in the all-time career money list. So
just from
basically,
that one
whoever
tournament?
wins,
Just from one tournament.
Yeah.
So whoever wins on Sunday, or I guess it's Monday finish this week, right?
Yeah.
Will make more than Mark O'Meara and Greg Norman through their whole entire career with one tournament.
That's bananas.
When did this happen? I know that.
What do you mean when? As soon as Tiger came, that's when money went absolutely
No, but I
through
just
the
mean
roof.
it's never been like this.
It was all from him.
400 grand for last place in the tournament.
Every golfer
But
that's a millionaire.
You got to earn your way there, though.
No, I know, but it's still so crazy. I don't know. It's unreal.
I think that when did the FedEx Cup start? Like 10, 12 years ago?
Yeah.
2007.
So I think the problem in 2007 was they'd have all these majors, like Masters first, and then the U.S. Open in June, and then the British Open in July. PGA Championship was in August, I think. And then it just kind of fizzled out until January, right?
Right.
And the PGA Championship, I would say, subjectively, is the kind of the shittiest major of them all, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So it just was kind of like peak at the start, the Masters, and then it just slowly kind of went downhill, whereas now it's kind of going, especially this year, like it's the playoffs will be done, and then there's the U.S. Open and then Masters, and I don't think they'll do that every year, but I think that was the point of the huge payouts and kind of make it worth something to guys, right?
Yeah, and then with that, like everybody's getting on board this year, trying to make money wherever they can. So sponsorships will be through the roof and everything like that too.
And they said there's 6 majors in the next calendar year, like starting like in this 2020-21 season. Like that's awesome.
And probably a Ryder Cup, no? Or Presidents next year?
Presidents, I think they're taking a year off the Ryder Cup, or 2 years, I guess. Man, I forgot we were on video. I had a half a glass of wine here, and I am like, I don't know what is happening, but it's like crawling all the way up my body. So I don't know what's happening over here. Yeah, I don't know. My cheeks are red too, so I might have to withdraw from the podcast.
Did you get poisoned?
Am I dead?
You'll be okay.
Oh boy.
Anyway, we're still alive here, boys.
So another thing to mention too about the Tour Championship, like we're talking about Hughes's 5-footer. What about, like, I didn't even get to watch it. I was stuck at Easton's house and tracking on my phone, and all of a sudden I see DJ rolls in this 40-footer, and then Rahm rolls in a 65-footer. Like, what the hell happened?
The best thing I saw was a tweet that said, could you imagine how loud it would be in the past 20 minutes if there were actually fans here?
That was the loudest I've heard it since, this whole thing started
and there was nobody there.
It was loud. There was nobody. There was a few people, like the spectators and the media and stuff, but it was loud.
Yeah.
Like when DJs went in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then,
like, you have to take a step back and think, like, DJ's putt was a lot more impressive. All things considered, it was to get into a playoff with Rahm. But you also have to think about what DJ has already accomplished and how he's kind of like, no matter what happens from here, he's probably going to be okay. Whereas if you got a 5-foot slider like Hughes had for your career.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were talking to Mackenzie Hughes after, and they said, what were you thinking about when you hit the putt? Which is what this whole podcast has been about, like the mental side of things. And he said he didn't want to make it more than it was. It was a putt, and it was a 5-foot putt, and he's made thousands of those in his career. You kind of go back to your practice, and that's what you have to, you know what I mean? Like that's what you have to think about when you're in those situations instead of what's on the line and making it more than it is.
Mm-hmm. So simplify it in your mind as much as possible.
Yeah. I just on that Hughes too. I follow that Monday Q info on Twitter.
Yeah.
Probably, I would say he's my favorite follow. Just all the stories. And Mackenzie Hughes, he talked about Hughes, and like he was on the Canadian Tour in 2015, and he fell all the way to 1,399th in the world rankings. And I think he was really struggling. He kind of came up a little bit and had some good years, and then dropped all the way down to the Canadian Tour. And now, like with that, like he's the top ranked Canadian, and he's 65th in the world. Like the guy's making a name for himself right now, and it's impressive, really.
Yeah.
What he's been able to do in 5 years.
Yeah, it's insane. There's a few other Canadians that almost cut in there, but we'll get back to, I guess, DJ and Rahm. Both those putts were just insane. Like you had to hit it basically to the perfect spot of that hill that kind of went downhill, and then it actually went right
the other way,
then back left, or one or the other. So just crazy.
It's insane. But I don't know. That whole tournament, I guess, was crazy. I wish I could have watched it, but Save it for the majors.
Yep.
On that Monday qualifier note, he tweeted out the other day there was Tony Finau, Mackenzie Hughes, Lanto Griffin, and the guy that I'm going to focus on with my it's just a super cool story, Brendan Todd. I don't know if you guys know anything about him. I didn't until my guy Monday Q Info tweeted it out. But so I did some research. In 2009, he was an up and comer, kind of just sneaking onto the tour. He actually developed the full swing yips, and in 2009 he missed 10 straight cuts, and he dropped down to the nationwide tour, where in 2010 he missed 13 for 13 cuts, which he had the full swing yips and just completely fell off the face of the earth. Like, that's 23 straight cuts missed. He said that he had the full swing yips. He stood up to the ball and he was scared to hit it. But his short game, I guess, all the way throughout was top in the world, like 150 in. They still say today he's one of the best golfers in the world, 150 in. But so he went through the full swing yips. In 2014, he kind of made a comeback, and he actually beat Weirzy by 2 strokes at the Byron Nelson. So when he got the 2-year exemption from beating Weir, and I guess there's a cool story where he hit a shot. He was up against a tree and he flipped his club upside down, and hit it with the back of his club, and hit it to 7 feet to save par, and then went on to win the tournament by 2 shots. So he got a 2-year exemption, and so that was in 2014, and then the fall of 2015, he developed the full swing yips again.
What?
Jeez.
This is after he won on the PGA Tour, and he got the yips again.
Just pause for a second here. How would you get that?
Well, I don't know. I guess
I feel like I've had it before, but is it just all nerves and pressure?
Yeah, it's got to be a
nerves,
mental
pressure, not having a swing. You're trying to change stuff. You're trying to figure stuff out. Joe, I went through the same shit, but on a different scale, I guess. I was topping tee shots for 3 years.
Yeah.
Remember, it's a crazy thing. You're scared to swing.
It's like Charles Barkley. He knows what to do, but he just can't get his body to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So this guy in 2015, in the fall of 2015, he got the yips again. And he said there's quotes, and it's an article in Golf Digest. It's fascinating, but it's by Shane Ryan in the Golf Digest. And so in 2016, he could feel it, his career diminishing again. He's losing his PGA card, and he's stressed out, he's on the decline, and everything's just coming to an end. It's crazy, actually. So in the last year, which was 2016, his full exemption, he missed 20 of 21 cuts, 8 of 9 cuts in 2017, and 6 of 6 in 2018. And then he met up with a guy that he played with in college, a college teammate, and he recommended him to a guy named Bradley Hughes, who was a former PGA player. So, obviously this guy's thinking at this time, I'll basically try anything. And he got him hooked. Hey, or quit, yeah. He said,
how do you keep going after that?
He said, and there was a part in the article where it said that he thought, he had 2 thoughts. One, I've been here before and I've got over it before.
Yeah,
and two, I knew how hard it was to get back where I was before, so is it worth going through it all over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. We've all been there. I almost switched to right-handed. I just wanted to quit golf or try something else. So anyways, this guy is resilient, and he finds an ebook called The Great Ball Strikers by this Bradley Hughes, and he's just intrigued by this book. So he meets up with this guy, and I guess they really hit it off, and he starts kind of getting lessons from this guy. And so in 2018, he went to Q school, and he actually he started off bad, and it's the same thing that Cockrell said, you kind of get loose and just think you can go out and make a bunch of birdies. So this guy shot a 63 in his last round of Q school, and he said something just clicked at that time. So then I guess on the PGA, and I I'm going to start doing more research on the PGA, just how sponsorship exemptions work, and if you win, how you get exempt in the future. Because in 2019, he was playing like in his sponsorship exemptions, and because he was a past champ at the Byron Nelson, like I said, he was able to play in certain tournaments, and he got a couple tie 18 finishes on the PGA, which gave him full exemption on the Corn Ferry. And then he actually came out in the Bermuda Championship in the final round and birdied 9 of his first 11 holes to take the lead, and he won by 4. And then he won another tournament on the PGA, like the Manitoba. So he's won 2 tournaments in the last calendar year.
Nice.
And he's in the Tour Championship now, and he's ranked number 11 going into the Tour Championship.
Oh,
Wow.
I don't know.
Brendan Todd. So how old is he? Do you know?
35, I think.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
So we still got hope, drums.
in 2018, he moved below 2,000 in the official golf world rankings. Like,
Well, yeah, it sounded like he missed 35 out of 36 cuts in 4 years there.
like
I'm
isn't that
surprised he was even that
incredible?
high.
I was more surprised that this story's not more well known.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, they were talking about it on the PGA the other day, and I think that they were talking about how all the guys love him and they just like talk him up every time they see him and stuff like that. So he must be pretty
Really?
well liked on the tour. Yeah.
He's pretty just in the article it talked. He kind of reminded me of you. Like he's very golf focused, and like if he focused on something, he wanted to get that done. And like he's like all about like collectibles, like sports cards and stuff like that. Like I don't know. You'll have
like
to
my
read the
kind of
article.
guy.
It's pretty impressive. And I want to get into that Bradley Hughes ebook, that Great Ball Strikers. I'd like to have a peek at that. So
Peek away, buddy. Let us know how she goes. You can
might have been long. Oh, sorry.
Might have been what?
Might have been
overdue?
long-winded, but it's pretty.
Oh no. That's
pretty cool story, I thought.
That almost even like takes me into the one I was going to talk about was Jordan Spieth and how he's fallen off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
He made 9 top 10 finishes in 2018 and 2019 combined.
9 top 10s.
Total.
Oh,
Yeah, that's tough.
And only 3 this year.
like remember when he was
Like
it?
he
Like,
was
He
dominating.
was it. Yeah, he
Like-
was it.
He was murdering the
They were talking
the
about
entire
him breaking
field.
Tiger's records.
Yeah. And now he's 69th in the world. And that was
It's
only
hard
like
to pinpoint.
5 years ago.
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint one thing on one situation, but it's pretty hard not to look by that Masters blow up. Hey, that one shot
Oh my
on
God,
16
on 12.
or 12. Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of where, I mean, he had a few decent things after that, but that was
Yeah.
the end of the road.
And it's completely
think he-
crippled him. Like it's crazy.
I think he won the British Open after that, but that was like, I mean, whatever. You would expect him to do a lot more.
Right.
If someone said, remember, like when he was in the middle of his hot streak, if someone said to you in 2020, in the last calendar year, Tiger Woods has won 1 major and Jordan Spieth hasn't won any.
Yeah.
Because when he was in his heyday, Tiger was getting approved by the doctor to chip.
Yeah.
And now, like, I don't know. Golf's funny like that, I guess, man. Spieth might have the yips in some way, shape, or form. I don't know.
Something's going on. It's nuts.
It
I
really
haven't
is.
been watching him too close, like to see what's going on. Like, is it his putting or is it his driving, iron play? Like, what's
Yeah, I
going
haven't
on?
I haven't really been paying attention to him like on the telecast to like watch him much. Like every now and then they'll just mention like how he's kind of been on this cold streak, but I guess they don't show people that are at the bottom of the leaderboard anyways, but
Unless
I haven't
it's
really
Tate.
seen exactly what's wrong.
One thing about that, I will say that it just reminded me when you said that, Jor, if it's his putting or if it's whatever. I think like the stats on when he was on his hot streak, I think if you look like into detail of the putting stats, like he was putting like out of this world, like from
Yeah,
between
he
20 and
was.
30 feet.
Yeah, he was
So-
making long
Was it just a
putts.
hot streak with his putter? Like, was he ever
Yeah.
that good of a ball striker?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, his putter cooled down, and now it's just nothing's dropping.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's weird.
The putter is definitely a lot more historically known to be an issue from tournament to tournament, as like, because you've heard of the putting yips all the time. Like a lot of people have had them before. You don't hear many people having full swing yips. So it could have just been something that he was hot, because putting's so mental. And then he just kind of cooled down. But that'd be a long time to be hot on the tour, because he had a lot of good years there for a while.
Like it was 2 years that he was absolutely dominating.
Yeah. Yeah. That that's tough. Tough to see. They said that it used to be Spieth's buddy Justin Thomas. Did you say this last weekend, Rigo, or something? It used to be.
I think it was on Twitter. Yeah.
Justin Thomas was known as Jordan Speith's buddy, but now it's the other way around. It's Spieth is known as Justin Thomas's buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I wanted to quickly touch on, and I don't know how detailed we want to get into this, but it was pretty cool to me, and it's something that I've kind of picked up on over the last few years. And this might be a tip for some gamblers out there, but Bryson was talking to an interviewer. He's doing an interview or something. And he said that he's looked into this in detail, and the win rate, the win rate for new dads is astronomically high.
That's such a weird stat to go looking for.
It is, but it's something that you think about once you start playing for somebody more than yourself, what kind of impact that has on your game. But like I said, Nick Taylor did it this year. I think he had a very newborn, and he won wherever that was. And then so Rory's having a kid, Rory's not, his wife is, this weekend, and there's a chance that he might not be playing in the Tour Championship because of that. So something that I found fascinating is that stat. And another thing would be, this might be weird to say, but when somebody loses a loved one, like passes away or something, I think that the win rate after that would be pretty high as well. There's no official stats on these, but might have to tweet
Price
and then see if there's any stats on that one.
Yeah.
But have you guys noticed over the years that that's the case, especially with someone passing away and then they have their career around, or they win a tournament right after that?
Your audio did some crazy stuff there. Kind of went digital for a second, but yeah, I agree with that. But just from what I could gather from it, I think that also, like, if you have a kid, you realize that, like, kind of what you're doing is just a game and there's more to life, maybe. I don't know. Like, and it makes you worry less about the actual golf itself, and you kind of just go out and do what you're so good at to begin with.
Yeah.
Instead of worrying about everything.
I think maybe the joy of having a kid just brings out the joy of the game in you too, maybe.
Yeah.
And you just remember it's just a game and whatever comes with it, I guess. So who knows?
It's one of those things, and I've probably noticed it over the years too, is like once you start thinking in terms of it doesn't really matter, especially for us. Like, I mean, we're not making a living off it, but you realize out there that no matter what happens this round, like, I have so much to be thankful for and to be grateful for.
For sure.
And I'm sure once you have a kid there that's yours, and it takes it to a whole different level of that. So that was cool. So if you got any money to throw on Rory this weekend, maybe do that.
Yeah.
His wife pops in the next day or two.
Or throw some money on my boy Toddy. Who knows what's going to happen at the Tour Championship.
But don't bet on Spieth.
Yeah, that's probably a good bet. He's probably not even in it, yeah.
No, he's not in it.
Not a chance.
I don't even think he made last week.
The cut?
I don't think so either.
No, I don't think he made the tournament.
No, I don't think he did.
Poor bastard. I like him.
Yeah, let's get into the Friends of King Golf Kingdom podcast here. Some questions we got today. once again, I think that this is something we'll keep doing because we're getting a lot of good questions from people, and it helps fill some time on these podcasts. And we'll start with a guy, Kyle McLeod. So we had a few questions kind of about the equipment part of the game. And his question was, if money was no object and you could pick any set of clubs, new or older, to put in your bag today, what would it be? Full set.
I would for sure have the sim driver and 3-wood, just from, obviously I can't afford them, but
Money's no object here.
yeah, I know, but in real life, like, I can't afford them, but the guys who have them, like, they're apparently incredible. So I would have the sim driver and 3-wood. Honestly, in terms of sheer looks, I don't really care about anything else. I would have my irons that I have right now in a perfect world. I really would. I just love the look of them, and that's all I really care about. So for those of you that don't know, they're the King muscle back, cavity back combo. They're blacked out with black shafts, and they're pretty good looking club. And then I'd have 3 Vokey wedges, which I have, and a spider putter, which I have. So I mean, I probably have.
What a nice life.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to say the entire set that I have right now. I'm going to say the Cobra blacked out driver too. That's it. Final answer. I'm going to go with the exact clubs I have.
Okay. Well, maybe that's why you shoot in the 60s.
Yeah. For irons, I'm going to go with my current ones now too. They're just TaylorMade rocket blades, but I love hitting them. They're like, I've never hit my irons better than I have in the past year and a half or 2 years with them. My favorite driver I ever had was a Titleist 938K, I think. I had one of Bobby Brandon's old ones, so it was cut down a little bit. So it was like the perfect height when I was like 16. So I always hit it really good. So that's probably my favorite driver that I could have ever had. Wedges, Vokey wedges, Vokey 60. My 56 Hogan that I've had for 20 years. Putter, my favorite all-time putter that I had was a Pink Crazy. Remember those goofy looking things?
Was that the big sucker?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Did you buy it from Aggie or no?
No.
Aggie.
But that'd be my bag, I think. Just with classics mixed in there.
Mine would be, I'll start with the driver. I would keep my driver because it's the best I've hit my driver in about 10 years with this club. It's a M3 or 4 or something. I don't even know why.
No, I think it's M6.
Is it? M6, I guess. I'm pretty sure it's not, but Rigo
Isn't it
probably
the
knows.
twist face?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's M6.
Discussion for another time. But I'll tell you one thing. You could give me any fairway woods in the world right now, and I would probably be happy with them. My current ones are an R9 and an R13 with different shafts in them, so that's not helping my game too much. So I'd take probably the M4 in fairway woods. I think I would go with the irons. I think I'd like to try those TaylorMade PWs, those $4,000 clubs if money's no object. I'd probably hit them like shit, but I'd like to give them a go. And or try the standard length like we talked about last week with Bryson's clubs. And then for wedges, Vokeys for sure. And for putter, if you find one, let me know, please.
You got to get off the blades, man. Look at all the winners on tour except for Tiger.
I drained some bombs on Saturday, bud, with that blade.
Yeah, but you're just hung up on Tiger. Tiger's the only one that still uses a blade.
I think I might get a new one this winter, and it's going to be that. I think it's a Scotty Cameron Phantom X. It's like a black and lime green kind of bigger head putter. I'm going to try that out, I think.
I would change one thing up on my set too.
Too late.
No, I would black out my putter instead of it being red. I would black it out.
Okay, that's fair. That's doable. Second part of the question, we've already kind of answered this ourselves, but what's everyone's favorite club that you do have in your bag right now?
My driver,
Mine would
King
be driver
Cobra F7 Plus, blacked out.
too. M4, no certain specifics.
It's M6.
Mine's my 56 wedge, my classic.
Colonial.
Yep.
Nice.
Mine changed from the start of the podcast. Mine was also my wedge. Now mine's my M4. No specifics.
No saying M4 anymore. I'm done.
Okay, you guys keep going. I'm going to go get it.
Okay. God, I hope it's an M6.
So the next question we had came from our boy Rubes, and it was, where's everybody's favorite? Or no, sorry. What's the best spots for a golf getaway, specifically for bachelor parties?
So I think we covered this. Hey, like Brainerd's obviously at the top of everybody's list.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've touched on this maybe before. So I think that's going to be a unanimous decision on Brainerd.
It's
Perfect
M4,
place.
isn't it?
First of all, before looking at it,
Shit.
check out the head covers there. Pretty nice. The Tiger Frank. Nike, if you're seeing this, don't sue me.
He's happy, so it's the M4 for sure.
And that's an M4, a little dirty, but there she is.
I can't really see it.
It's an M4. Boom, baby.
That's only the third time in 2020 I've been wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
This week.
What was the question here? Did you answer it already?
Yeah, it was from Rubes. What's the best sports or golf or what? Jesus, what's the best spots for a golf getaway, specifically for a bachelor party? And we just said, yeah, we've touched on this a couple times now. Brainerd's obviously the spot to go.
Saskatoon's pretty good time too.
Saskatoon
is awesome, and they have a sick golf course there, Dakota Dunes. If you guys ever get a chance to play there, try that.
And we also
half the
mentioned
distance too.
We also mentioned the East Coast, but
Yeah.
I'd like to.
I've never been there for a bachelor party.
No, me either.
I'm guessing Phoenix would be pretty sick too for a bachelor party. I've never done that either, but there's a ton of courses within a very short radius there.
Well, Steegs did it for his, and he's not a big golf guy, and neither were most of the guys there. And they went to the Waste Management and absolutely loved it. So.
Yeah, that'd probably be a perfect spot as the Waste Management.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would. I mean, you can't really go wrong if you're going somewhere with 8 guys to golf.
Yeah.
You could go west in a car. It kind of depends if you're on the highway or in the sky, but right now it seems like we're kind of limited to on the highway. So, yeah, Brainerd, Saskatoon. I would really like to go to Kananaskis too, that area. I know that there's a few guys been out there because that's about a 10, 12-hour drive, and there's probably a few things to do there as well. So,
Definitely.
What do we got next here?
The next one comes from Bizman22. And he says, what are your thoughts on free lift if it lands in a fairway divot?
I guess it depends where you're playing.
Yeah. In a tournament or a men's night, you mean, or what?
Yeah. Were you going to say that Paige Spiernax or whatever?
Yeah. She tweeted that they should get a free lift out of there, and I absolutely agree.
100%.
Why would they have to hit it out of there? So that kind of goes back to one of the questions we had earlier in this season of the pod, which was if you could change one rule, what would it be? And I'm sure a lot of guys on tour would probably say that. It makes no sense. All those guys are hitting pretty similar distances, pretty similar spots, and they're expected to just magically find some grass and try to hit out of that.
Yeah.
You should never be punished in golf for hitting good shots.
Nope.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I think we're pretty unanimous on that. Do you guys have anything else to add?
No, not really.
No.
Pretty unanimous on that one, yeah.
Good question, Bizman.
Bizman 22. I think he's from Manitoba. And the last question here we got from Bryce Watson. He asked, what's more enjoyable, drivable par 4 or a par 5 that's reachable in 2? Rigo.
I mean, I'm going to say drivable par 4. I just love it. I love just stepping up to the tee and I love it for match play too and stuff like that. When somebody that maybe doesn't hit it as long and they just auto grab an iron and play to like a safe spot. And I don't know if I've laid up on a par 4 in like 5 years, like a drivable one. And it probably cost me a lot more shots than it gains me, but I just love the rush of going for it. I think if you can get to the green, you have to go for it.
We should also mention, I don't know if you guys ever golfed with Bryce or not, but he hits it pretty far. So I think that his drivable par 4s would be a little different than maybe me and drums. But yeah, he's a big bomber. He's a good golfer. I would probably say the same. I'd say drivable par 4. I don't usually get too turned on by par 5s other than it's a good chance to make birdie. But as soon as you start thinking about that, then it turns pretty quickly into a bogey. Just look at my Tamarack scores. Hole 5, Clear Lake, bogey.
I'll go par 5 just because there's not many par 4s that I can actually drive. So it gives me a better shot on a par 5.
Which is fair because it's not.
The question should maybe be and I shouldn't change people's questions, obviously, but for some of the shorter hitters, it should maybe be one that's a short par 4. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be drivable, but and that's kind of the reason why I love Oak Island actually, is because there's quite a few holes where if you're hitting your driver well, you can get pretty close to some of those greens. I don't think any of them are really drivable outside of maybe number 3 on a good day.
Yeah, true.
But there's a lot of holes there that if you can cut corners and stuff and you're hitting it well, you can put yourself into a lot of birdie opportunities. So
that's why I like Poplar too. Same type of deal.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, once again, I would say thanks
sorry.
to
there was one more question. It was Terry Riley reached out to us on Twitter.
Oh, right.
Terry's the head pro at Niagara. We mentioned before that he golfs at Rossman the odd time. And Joe responded to him. He asked what the lowest score we've had at Rossman was. And Joe, you asked him what his was, and he said 31.
Yeah.
So it's a par 34, so 3 under. What's yours, Joe?
I think it's 33, which was this year. It's either 32
under.
or 33. I've never been lower than that. You?
I had a wild round there one night. I shot 29.
Ooh.
That's in 9, and then my lowest on 18 is 63, so it'd be 5 under. Both would be 5 under,
good.
but
That'll do.
yeah, the one was pretty crazy. It just seemed like everything. If you can get it going to that course, you can make a ton of birdies.
Yeah,
Cool.
but there's some hard holes.
Well, you have to hit 9 good shots basically off the tee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a lot of rounds there, and it's definitely not one that you're shooting 34 at every round. That's for sure.
No.
Lots of trouble and lots of without two. I wish that more people would get out to Rossman and play, but maybe we should do our KNG Golf get together there someday. Maybe we'll do it this fall. Who knows?
Yeah, it'd be sweet.
I haven't golfed it, like, not at the shit show I was probably 12 the last time I golfed there.
Yeah.
I was thinking that would be your answer because all you play is scramble really there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll get into part 2 here after our segment called Shoutouts, which is a brand new one that we just made up here. So we got to give a shout out to our good friend, Ripper, Ryan Pollock. He's in Game 6 tomorrow night, and he's in Toronto right now, soon to be Edmonton, hopefully. So he's been listening to the podcast, so we just thought we'd give him a quick shout out and a big good luck for tomorrow night and for the rest of the series and season, hopefully, for him. So, thoughts?
Guy's absolutely ripping it up in playoffs right now. Playing huge minutes. Just a pain in the ass to play against. Shutting down all the other team's top guys. He's really doing it right now, making us proud.
Yeah, every time I look, he's on the ice and doing good. So awesome to see. Keep it up, Ripper.
And he's taking care of Rigo's favorite team too, which is the best part about it. So,
And he sure lets me know about it.
okay, well, let's get into tonight's free ad. Man, it feels like every time we're doing this the day of, I have so many things to say, and then I just forget about it. So tonight's free ad is brought to you by Bob's B&B, which is our awesome Auntie Kim. She's out in Pincher Creek. I believe it's Alberta, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Pincher Creek, Alberta. She has a little bed and breakfast out there that she just started last year. So with COVID and stuff, lots of people are sticking inside of the border in Canada. So if you have any time this summer, next summer, or the winter, check it out. Mom and Dad were there a couple months ago, and they loved it there. There's tons of scenery out there, some mountains, and a whole bunch of stuff to do. And it's called Bob's B&B. You can find her on Facebook. And it's called Bob's B&B because she has all of Grandma, which is our baba, Ukrainian baba, her recipes and stuff. So that's what she cooks in-house for the guests there. So
Nice.
that's our Auntie Kim, Baba's B&B. Check her out. Let's get into part 2, babies. Who's going first? I got a long one, so why don't you guys go first?
Here's some culture, baby.
Mine'll be pretty quick. My recommendation this week is a show on Netflix called Cobra Kai. It is it's basically a spin-off of the old Karate Kid, so not the shitty Jaden Smith one, but like the one from the 80s. It actually like stars the main guys from the old movie. And it kind of centers around the bad guy in the movie is the main guy in the TV show now. So it's like him as a 45-year-old midlife crisis guy and opening a dojo and teaching karate. So it's I don't know, just a fun kind of nostalgic show for anybody that was a fan of the Karate Kid movies growing up. It's on Netflix now. It started on YouTube Red, so I had seen it. I think it started 2 years ago, so I had seen it before, but I just started rewatching them, and it's a pretty good show. Just a fun. It's not going to win any awards, but it's just kind of a fun pastime show.
I gave a big yes after you finished saying that it was on Netflix because that's the only streaming site that I have. So all your other ones except for Dark, I haven't been able to watch.
Yeah, I think all the other ones were like on Amazon or something too.
Yeah, which I paid for a year, but never did use it, so I can't use it anymore.
I think that Drums' segment is going to pass ratings of Reggie Stroke Saver here in the next few months when people can't golf anymore.
Yeah, true
and
enough.
they're going to be
right.
stuck inside watching shows. So, Drums, you better find some good ones coming up here because people are going to be heavily reliant on them.
It's tough to get into stuff right now with everything else that's on TV.
Yeah, and just wanted to be outside too.
Yeah. Are you watching Big Brother?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not a fan.
I never have.
I can't get past the people in them now.
My least favorite part about Big Brother right now for sure is the fact that all the house guests were tested negative for COVID-19, stuck in a house with only people who have tested negative for COVID-19. And before they leave, they have to wear a mask to leave the house. And the host, Julie Chen, is not wearing a mask. So
and 10 feet away from her. And
10 feet away.
And they do the interview with the mask on. It's a shit show.
Yeah.
Hey, let's not get into the mask talk. Save
We
that
have
for a
to slip
different
it in.
podcast.
I will say one thing, and I'm pretty pissed off about it with all this COVID stuff, is tomorrow's the ultrasound for the baby, and I can't go to it because of this horse shit.
That's tough.
For those who can't see, we're showing sympathy and nodding heads for Drums. Who, I guess we'll take this chance to congratulate for Drums Him and his girl Alyssa are expecting a kid in
January 24th.
January
It's
24th.
coming up, man.
It's coming up so fast.
Daddy drums.
Yeah.
So if Drums is playing any golf tournaments on
In
late
February?
January, make
Yeah.
sure you bet on him because he's going to be dialed.
We'll have to get a
Speaking
virtual
of golf
tournament
drums.
we can hang into.
Speaking of golf tournaments, I'll get into my stroke saver. I've kind of been battling for the last week, not really knowing what I was going to talk about, but it took a round last night in which I started at Gilbert. It was windy as hell. I started double. And so I was 6 over through 3 and 7 over through 5. And I got to number 5, and I always forget to do it. I know to do it, but I always forget. I obviously forgot at the Tamarack for 2 days, but my stroke saver today is if you get off to a start like that, it's such a mental game that if you just convince yourself that those first, say yesterday's was 5 holes, are a totally different round, and you start fresh on the 6 tee box, and you challenge yourself to shoot a score from there on in, it helps so much. Instead of just absolutely exploding, you set a goal, and obviously you're not going to get back to par if you're 7 over through 5 holes, but you got to be realistic with your goal that you set. So yesterday I set my goal just to shoot par. It was pretty tough conditions. I set the goal to shoot par on the I guess it would be the last 13 holes, and I actually birdied 17 and made a pretty sick par on 18 to shoot par from 6 on. So I ended up shooting 78 after being 7 over after the first 5 holes. So it's just like you always talk about the mental part of the golf game, Jor. It's just kind of a mental reset, just telling yourself, you know what, if I keep going down this path and worrying about trying to get this where I'm at right now completely back, then you start making dumb shots and doing stuff probably out of character to try to get back to the score you had in mind at the start. Whereas if you just try to limit the damage and just I don't know, just go from there and set a goal and take it hole by hole, I guess, trying to shoot that target score.
Yeah. It's one of those things too. It's like if the driver's not working, if you're hitting some bad shots on the first 3 or 4 holes, pick a club that you like, that you love, and hit one good shot and go from there. Like don't try to force things and try to get back to under par or something stupid like that. Take it one hole at a time. Tons of golf, and just hit a club that you really love and just hit a few good shots, and then you kind of get your rhythm back. And so did you change anything in your swing, or you just
honestly, what
was on the 6 tee? Like, what'd you do?
Too much into it. Well, no, nothing. I was finally, we golfed. It was me, James, Jaron, and Sparrow. We've been talking about playing this match for like, I don't know, 5 years. We didn't play a match, but we just played a whole bunch of money games. And we got to the first tee, and we were like dead into the wind, cross left to right. And I thought I hit a good shot. And we got up there, and I couldn't find my ball. So I was pissed right off, like rightfully so. I mean, I thought I hit a good shot. I did hit it good, and it was just gone. So then that carried into number 2 and number 3.
Yeah.
And then finally on number 6, I was like, okay, like you can either keep hacking around and not enjoy this round with your buddies, or set a target score and try to shoot that the rest of the way. Yeah. And basically that's what happened, and it resulted in a better score.
Because realistically, as a weekend golfer, you're not going to start +6 and then shoot -5 on the next 15 holes. Like realistically.
Right.
No.
So just hit a few good shots and get back into the rhythm. Start with that.
Yeah.
And be reasonable with your target, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Reggie. Well, that's Reggie's Stroke Saver has been one of the more popular segments for sure on the podcast so far. What's your plans for the winter months when you don't have rounds to refresh your brain? Are you going to do some online research, or what's your plan?
I've been studying I shouldn't say studying, but I've been following lots of accounts on Twitter just to try to find more knowledge. I think the thing that I struggle with the most in the stroke savers is I want to make them, like you said, for the weekend golfers. You're not going to reinvent the wheel, but like it's just something, I guess, like you said before, when we first started talking about posting stuff on Twitter and stuff like that, before this podcast was even a thing, is just to lots of the things I know how to do them, but I don't realize that it's come from years of practice that I know that, and it's not just common knowledge to every golfer.
Yeah.
So it's tough to, like, I actually worry about it a lot more now that we have this stupid podcast during the round.
Hey.
Trying to come up with ways that I could share stuff with people, and it is kind of tough. I don't know.
You're probably more conscious about it, which can be helpful and I guess hurtful in other ways too, because you start thinking about that instead of just staying in to where you are. But at the same time, you notice you might be more conscious of maybe what works and what doesn't work for you, and you can kind of go from that.
Definitely.
Okay, well, stay tuned on that as we approach the winter months here in Manitoba.
Hey, don't say that though. We honestly still probably have like a month and a half of golf.
Well,
like
you know
weekends.
what? We thought that last year too, and then all of a sudden
It snowed.
it was the worst fall in history, and we got in like 1 or 2 rounds of fall golf. So
Not happening.
I guess the point of the moral of the story would be just enjoy every hole you have for the rest of the year.
Yeah, true enough.
Right. What do you got? You
So
said let's hear it.
No, it's not going to be very long. I shouldn't say that. It's actually a book. Drums inspired me last week with his recommendation, so I got a book here. It's kind of a book and an author, and kind of just like I don't know, mindset's the word or not, but the book is Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. And I'm actually going to read you guys a little segment of the book here in a second. But Ryan Holiday is he's an author. He has a few really good books that I've enjoyed over the years. One was Ego is the Enemy. And another one is Obstacle is the Way. And then he has a 365 Days of Stoicism book. So every day it's like one of those calendars where it has a quote in it. It just has like a Stoicism quote, which he kind of ties into real life English, because Stoicism dates way back. It's basically a mindset where you don't get too high or too low on anything. It's just, you kind of just learn to accept things as they come. So I'll just try to keep this as fast as I can here. But this is about a lotus flower, which is a powerful symbol in Buddhism. So it says, although it rises out of the mud of a pond or river, it doesn't reach up towering into the sky. It floats freely on top of the water. And in a way, the lotus also embodies the principle of letting go. It's a beautiful and pure, but also attainable and lowly. So I guess he says the balances that you want to strike is without aiming too high, but still getting to the kind of point where you want to be. So if we aim for the trophy in life, be it recognition of wealth or power, we'll miss the target. If we aim too intensely for the target, we will neglect the process and the art required to hit it. What we should be doing is practicing, and what we should be doing is pushing away that willful will. So there's a little bit more, but the point of it is, if you focus too much on either the end goal, if you focus either too much on the end goal or set an unrealistic target, you kind of forget everything in between, which is the process. And a lot of golfers talk about this, right? The process, the practice. You kind of skip that part and just focus too much on the end goal. Whereas if you let the practice and the process, it kind of takes care of itself. So I would say I've learned a lot through these books, through the Stoicism stuff, and it helps a ton on the golf course. Rory McIlroy talked about this book actually a little while ago. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I don't know. Have you guys heard of Stoicism before at all?
I haven't, no.
Only on that one documentary on Rory when we were watching at the cabin that day. But
yeah, so it's just a different way of looking at things and going about things, and I kind of want to eventually, whether it's through this podcast or something else, is get some of these quotes and tie it directly into golf, kind of like he does in that book, but instead of into normal life, tied into the golf part of it. So a little bit deep there, I think, but if you guys have any interest in just the different mindset of stuff, he is some awesome bucks. So that's that.
Yeah, that sounds
I
good.
like it.
Stillness
Now I
is
just
the
have-
key. Ryan Holiday.
Now I just have to learn how to read, and I can start that book.
They got audio versions?
I was pretty nervous there reading. I don't know why. Like I'm reading in front of you guys right now, but
Do you remember how
Yokes.
nerve-wracking that was as a kid?
having to read
What
out
do you mean
loud
as
in
a
class.
kid?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I had to do that in my insurance course, and I was losing my mind at 26. I
Yeah.
hate talking in front of people.
Me too.
It
I go to-
seems like you're going too slow, and then you try to speed up.
Yeah, and then you start
Worst.
rambling.
Yeah, it's tough. But
I hate it.
Brutal.
yeah,
Can't do
I
it.
thought that lotus flower was pretty cool. A cool symbol
Yeah, that
of
is cool.
kind of what you want to get to, whether it be life or in golf. So I guess that brings us into the next part of our segment 2, which is the questions.
If Drums follows up that thing that you just had with a question like last week, this podcast is all over the map. What a
mine's-
question.
Mine's a little more tame this week.
Let's hear it.
What's your favorite concert that you've ever been to? Maybe not like the best, but just your favorite.
Mine would be, I feel like, I don't know if we talked about this before, but I feel like Nickelback was mine. Nickelback in Brandon at the Keystone Center. This was like 2000, maybe 1999. I don't know, sometime around there. But I was like 16 years old.
No.
Nickelback.
You were
1999.
16 in 1999.
I didn't realize you were born in 83.
Yeah.
No, it was like,
So I guess not too far off there. It would have been a couple of years later, but
It'd have been like 05.
yeah, Keystone Center. There was a bunch of fireworks and pyrotechnics, and Nickelback was rocking then. And then all of a sudden they became uncool. But everybody,
they're
I
not uncool.
think, still listened to them when they were by themselves or with their buddies, and they're kind of making a resurgence. I saw that they had a new song called, well, it's an old song, I guess. Devil Went Down to Georgia, but it's kind of like a very fast-paced version of that Nickelback style. So
They
check
didn't
that
make
out
one
if
called
you got a
6 Feet
chance.
Apart.
I don't know.
Hey?
Did they?
They probably made one about wearing masks too. That'll be the next country song.
Luke Combs has one of those.
Well, I know, but I'm saying the next one will be about masks.
Oh yeah, true.
Taking your mask off at the end of the day. Kicking your boots up,
Take
taking
your
your
boots.
mask off. Let's go.
I thought you were done with this COVID talk.
I know it. And I think I know what my answer was. Garth Brooks in Regina last year had pretty close to front row seats, and that guy is a magician. He was incredible. So Garth Brooks is unreal.
Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines.
Perfect. Remember that bullshit?
Yeah. We do. We watched a documentary on it at the cabin one night because Dad didn't believe that that was a real thing.
Oh, really?
And then 5 minutes into it, he's like, this is stupid. Turn this bullshit off. I'm like, okay, well, this is what we were talking about, and we're watching it now, so that's how she goes. But Chris Gaines, yeah, there's about a half-hour documentary on Netflix on it, and it's just total weirdness. Dad wasn't wrong, but it was pretty weird.
I'll pass on that one.
What was yours, Drummy?
I think it was probably 010-ish. Winnipeg at the stadium for Bon Jovi and Kid Rock.
I'm gonna be sick.
It's kind of an odd pairing, but no, that was sick. And it was the second time that I seen Bon Jovi, which is weird, but I think we
Why
just went
weird?
with a
He's
few
unreal.
buddies. Huh?
Why weird? He's unreal.
I think it was like within like a year or something that he was there twice.
Well, he was at the MTS Center when I was with you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He's awesome.
So that's mine.
Reggie?
The most embarrassing golf shot you've ever hit.
Mine would be most embarrassing golf shot. I've hit a lot of those actually. I don't know. Actually, does Mike V listen to the show?
Yeah.
He hit
maybe.
a shot.
I'll tell him to.
He hit a shot at the Tamarack there on Friday, and first tee at the Tamarack Friday matches, and he hit he hit a 3-wood or something, and it honestly went about 2 feet. So he topped it. It went 2 feet. It was still in the tee box, and then so I don't know if somebody else, his opponent, hit after him. So of course the guy's calling them up to the tee. And then so he hit, and then the guy who was calling the guys up called Mike up again to hit his
No way.
So sorry, Mike, for going there, but that's just kind of what came to my mind.
Hey, Mike V had a week. He said in one match he shot 73, so that's impressive. He played some unreal golf. He beat the wheels off a lot of guys that week, but
yeah,
that wasn't.
I think
obviously
that was just
it wasn't his finest moment. The nerves on the first tee at the Tamarack are crazy.
Yeah, and I think that was just kind of a sign of that was set the tone for his day. I think he didn't have a very good match after that, and you can't really blame the guy. Drums, can you think of one off the hop?
Mine's not actually a shot, but it's definitely the most embarrassed I've ever been at a golf course. So I was probably 15, 16. I went out actually with Cockrell's coach, Derek D.I. He used to take a bunch of guys in early March and go on kind of a golf trip and do some teaching and stuff. And me and Jordy went out to BC one time with him at that Morningstar golf course that you were talking about out there.
All right.
And then another time I went to Texas with him. I can't remember which trip it was on, but we were all lined up on the driving range, and he was individually bringing everybody up, and everybody was doing this drill where he gave you his iron and you were supposed to throw it. So it would be like at your release, directing it towards the target, throw the club at the target. So you're literally just tossing his iron out into the driving range. And I'm nervous as all hell. I'm by far the worst golfer there, but whatever. And so I step up there. He hands me this iron, and I'm like shaking. I'm sweating. Everything's going on. And I pull hook this club that I tossed, and it goes flying left, bounces off the range picker, and shatters. And I hit the deck. Like I wanted to faint. I wanted to die. I wanted to bury myself in the ground. And he's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's all good. He's like, here, take another club and do it again. I'm like, D.I., I'm not doing this. I just shattered one of your irons. We're not doing this again. He's like, well, you're not going to do it again. I'm like, oh, okay. Sure as shit. Pull hook this one too. Exact same thing. Lands in the middle of the tractor, shattered it in half. And I literally just about walked off the course and hopped on a plane because I was so embarrassed. My face was red. It was a gong show. So that's definitely my most embarrassing moment on a golf course.
He's come a long way from coaching that.
Yeah.
To coaching guys in the PG.
Were they graphite shafts around that? How'd they snap?
Like I literally chucked him as hard as I could at a tractor.
Yeah, he's come a long ways. I guess quickly before we go, because I kind of just threw Mike V under the bus there, so I'll answer myself too, because I've had a lot of embarrassing shots, but the one that came to mind the last minute or so was at Rossman Lake on hole 3, which is about a 65-yard par 3, and we were there for the Cody McLeod annual tournament there. So there was 8 guys. It was the first tee we started on this hole number 3. 8 guys, and so I was first up for the team. And it's a pitching or a sand wedge, 56-degree wedge, half wedge. And so obviously you want to be within a couple feet for a scramble. And I shanked it straight left, right into the bush. And so everybody just kind of burst out laughing, and it kind of relieved all the tension. Rigo talked about it last week with the hole-in-one, but it just kind of put everybody in a good mood, and you're not going to hit a worse shot than that. So it just kind of set the tone for the day. And we ended up shooting 18 under that day, which I think
is that good?
It was pretty good, yeah. Won the tourney. I won a Nathan McKinnon jersey that tournament. So that seems to be climbing in value by the day.
Yeah, speaking of that, you should wait till you see the pass he just made to Rantanen to go 3-1 right now. Unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I
good.
got the score on in the background.
Cheers, Reggie.
Here you go. What do you got?
I'll just touch on it quick. I talked about Brendan Todd, how he had the full swing yips. As you guys know, I went through that for about 2 years. Finally taught myself a swing good enough just to get around the course. Didn't really put myself in too many bad situations where the pressure would really mount all that much because I didn't have really a swing that I could trust. I kind of just put something together just based on strictly feel. As Landon Cameron said on a previous podcast, I took a 3/4 swing, maybe less, I was scared to take the club back, whatever. So here we are. We're playing in the cash tournament in Gilbert. Pretty big cash tournament. There's lots of money on the line. So all the skins didn't go. There's no skins won. So when there's no skins won in one of those tournaments, the cash tournaments, you have a shoot-off from 100 yards. And all 4 guys go on your team. And the closest teams, 1, 2, I think 1, 2, 3 get paid skins. So picture this, there's like 200 people standing around number 9 tee box at Gilbert. It's my turn to go. As I said, I had the swing yips for a couple of years. I hadn't really had pressure like this when everybody's watching. I stepped up, did what I thought was my new golf swing, right off the hosel. Didn't even make it. Everybody knows where the tee box on number 9 is at Gilbert. I didn't even make it across any of the river. I shanked it so bad I missed. I was short of the river, left into the parking lot with 1,000 cars in there. I don't know if I hit a car. I don't remember. I blacked out. I was so embarrassed.
1,000 cars.
My buddy Teddy Fox chucked a dart. We got some cash anyways. How are you, Teddy? But he came through. I did not. I shanked it. And honestly, that was, I want to say, first week of September, the tournament was. I honestly took my clubs home, put them in the basement, and I never golfed again that year. That was it. I ended on a shank.
Pulled the plug.
Yeah, that was it.
I was going to ask you how you got rid of the
I didn't.
full swing yips.
Took 6 months off. How did I get rid of it?
Yeah, you didn't read the best ball striker alive or something like that?
No, I just realized it was a game and just started going back to natural. I'll get into it one day why I went through the full swing yips, but that's for another podcast.
Yeah, we got a long winter to fill here. We got to get some fresh ideas on what we could be talking about through the winter.
Yep.
My question today is non-golf related either. It's what I think I asked, no, maybe not, but anyways, what's the best investment or best purchase, I guess, under $100 that you've made in the last little while?
Just in general?
Yeah, just something that's kind of either improved your life or made your life better, easier, funner. I don't know. Could be a bottle of whiskey too.
Oof.
Whew.
Are you guys in another pretzel like Clayton Carefoot put you in?
I'm kind of stumped. I'm running prices through my mind and trying to think of.
Yeah, I'm trying
go
figure out
50
shit I
to
bought.
$200 then. Drums, you bought a new mic. That's
I bought a new mic, so yeah, hopefully it sounds good and is working.
Jeez, I'm like completely stumped right now.
This is going to make the editing job pretty hard if we have to remove 1 minute of silence here, boys.
I haven't bought anything.
I'll tell you, you didn't buy condoms either.
No, definitely didn't buy condoms.
Man,
Hey, while you guys think about this, I'll tell a funny story about Drums' question last week, so you guys get thinking on it. Colton Easton texted me and said he listens to the pod, and he said that the first 15 minutes that his wife and expecting wife listened to was the question that Drums asked. So she's like, what the hell is it? What are these guys talking about? And Colton's like, yeah, it's not usually like this, but they might mix in a few dirty things here and there. Who knows? Our mom's listening still, but
yeah, mine
she's
too.
pretty good with it.
I honestly can't think of anything that I've bought that's relatable.
Okay, I'll say mine goes back to golf because everything revolves around golf.
Okay.
I had said that, so I told the story on here that I lost my A wedge while we were in not A wedge,
Hecla.
sorry, my 54 when we were at Hecla.
Yeah.
So I had said the day before, and I said before that I wanted all my clubs to be black, and that 2 clubs in my bag were chrome or gray, and it drove me nuts. So I actually threw that club in Hecla, the 54, and then I said after I lost that I wanted to get a 50 degree to replace the silver A wedge that I had and a 54, both black. And literally, not exaggerating, the next day Dave Sanaka texted me and said he's got 2 left-handed, a 54 and a 50 degree that are black in color for sale for $200. So that would be my top $200 purchase in the last little while. And I absolutely, they're 2 Vokies and they are nasty.
Wait a sec. He texted you, or you texted him asking for wedges?
I texted him asking for wedges before. When I lost it, I asked him if he had a 54. Told someone that I wanted to get a 50 and a 54, and then he texted back with 2 left-handed black ones. What?
Drums, are you going to pass you, or what are you doing?
I think I got a pass. Other than the mic, hopefully that improves my life, I guess. I don't know.
What'd that cost you?
It was $80.
Actually, you know what, Drums? I'm going to answer on your behalf because you bought the Zoom Premium.
Oh, boom.
And that's actually been a lifesaver for us.
Yeah.
Because for the first 8 episodes and beyond that, for our practice episodes that we were working on, we had to stop every 40 minutes, and Drums would have to send us another invitation via email. So
Absolute nightmare.
there you go, Drums.
Yeah, nightmare over.
There it is. What's yours, Jordan?
Mine would be this. I bought a few things on Amazon the only time over this quarantine that I did. And it was to get this mic too. So, of course, Amazon tricked me into getting a few add-ons, but this is one of them, Rocketbook. I think that some of you people, I don't even know. I don't think that's racist. Or
What do you mean, you people?
Some of you people might have seen this before, but it's a notepad that you can write and erase on, and it's got a code there, so it scans into the app, and it can read all your words. So if you need to find words, if you looked around my office right now, there's about 1,000 pieces of paper, and it's impossible to kind of keep track of everything. So I've been going through this. You just wipe it off with some water and a cloth after you're done. It's about $50. It's a full-size notepad. And it's been a lifesaver for me. I can just kind of take it everywhere, and there's not loose papers around here anymore. And it's and then you don't have to throw anything out. You just kind of scan it into the app, and that's that, Rocketbook. Maybe 15? I'll put a link in our $50, 50.
Still, that's pretty sweet.
I'll put an app. Sorry, go ahead, Rio.
Your jersey just went up in value a little more.
Did it?
Is it?
I don't really want to sell it though.
The great Nate just scored.
Does that book, does it put it in like a PDF file, or is it like a picture of your writing, basically?
Well, it would have to be a PDF because it scans for your words.
Oh, that's pretty
So you
sweet.
know how it has like that OCR on the PDF things? It scans your words.
It scans your writing for words?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's sick.
That is
It's deadly.
I'm going to buy one.
So, well, before you buy one, I'm going to try to put a link in our YouTube channel for to hook that up, so we'll get a 4% kickback on that. I was just learning about how to do that last night. And that kind of ties into the lotus flower thing, which was we have this YouTube channel now, and we kind of have these high expectations of it and what we want to do. But I think that we just need to focus on learning a few things in YouTube and just taking some time to get some good content on there. So if you have a chance, I don't know if you're into watching YouTube videos or not, but check out our YouTube channel. We're going to try to put all our podcasts on there. We're going to try to put some live video of Reggie's stroke savers on there, just kind of with the audio in the background. And we already signed you up for it. So
first I heard of that.
No, it's not.
I wasn't really paying attention before. Didn't realize
so
we were doing that.
Anyways, we're going to keep that growing, hopefully, and the process of it is going to be challenging, I'm sure, on all of us. So, but if you're into golf content and hopefully Rigo shows up to Rossman Lake, so we're going to do a little bit of that this weekend and throw her on there. But yeah, check out our YouTube channel. It's just King Golf, and then you can kind of navigate through there. There's only 2 videos on there right now. I think us 3 have been the only ones who've watched them. But make sure to subscribe, and the more people are subscribing and liking, the more videos we'll put out. So that's that.
Hey, one last shout out before we head out here.
We already had the shout out segment.
Aaron Cockrell is buzzing.
Yeah,
he is up
true.
to 578 in the world. That's incredible. At the end of 2019, he was at 750. So factor that into 6 tournaments, I believe, that he's played in this calendar year, maybe a few more, but he is buzzing right now. And he informed me today that he just purchased a house in Winnipeg, and he's coming home to get settled into there for a couple weeks. So congrats, buddy. You've earned it.
Holiday. Congrats. Yeah. So that kind of wraps her up for this week, boys. As we said, continue to follow us with the podcast, subscribe, rate, all that fun stuff. You keep listening. We'll keep pumping these out. Check out the YouTube channel, like we said. We'll sign off for this week.
Drums, do we have an update on listens on? I like updating people on this just to – it'll be easy to report our YouTube views because it's 3 right now, so we'll keep that low.
I thought you said there's more.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit more.
So total listens were just over 13.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 1,300.
Oh, I thought you meant 13.
13 total. Yeah.
It's not very many.
This is episode 10, so just a couple of now.
So thanks to everybody for listening and for asking questions and stuff. We're really enjoying this. And like Drum said, we hope to keep doing them.
All right. Peace out, boys. Love you.
Take care, boys.